Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa early. We got a great topic for you, but before I get into that, Happy Holidays. We start on a Saturday, we roll all the way through the week, and we end up on a Friday, ending our topic. Thank you so much for popping in, even on the holidays. Really do appreciate you. And IFOL's birthday is coming up pretty soon, and we're going to be doing something pretty special for that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And for those of you who've been following me for so very long, I appreciate you. And for those of you that are watching me on the replay, thank you for you. Whether that's 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m., 2 a.m., 11 a.m. at night, or just 9 a.m. in the morning. Whatever time works for you. You can always play us back whenever it's convenient for you. Let's get into the master topic, shall we? We've got lots to talk about. Exploring Holiday Traditions, series episode number 2. Now, traditions are something that a lot of people have, I don't know, a funny feeling about because some people like them, some people don't. So I want to talk about an interesting tradition. We do it every year. It's called the Christmas cracker. Now, traditions tells that Tom Smith, between 1823 and 1869 of London, invented the cracker. It was actually around 1847. He created the cracker as a development of his bonbon sweets. That is pretty cool, ladies and gentlemen, and which he sold in a twist of paper, and the origins of the traditional sweet wrapper. As sales of the bonbon slumped, Smith began to come up with new promotional ideas, and his first tactic was to insert love messages into the wrappers of the sweets. Smith was inspired to add a crackle element after hearing the crackle of a log he had just put on a fire. The size of the paper wrapper had to be increased to incorporate the banger mechanism, and the sweet itself was eventually dropped to be replaced by trinkets, fans, jewelry, and other substantial items. So this is something that we've been doing for years, and so it's a kind of like a roll, and you pull the end, and then it pops. So you get little things inside. You'll notice, I actually got this hat, so you usually get a little crown inside. I got this little toy here, which you can kind of I don't know if you guys can see it here, but I can kind of you can kind of roll it. I don't know if you guys can see that little thing there. You kind of like roll that around there. It's pretty cool. Some other things that came in there was a car and a whistle. You can get pens. You get all kinds of stuff. But it's just something fun to do, and we usually do it just before we have our Christmas dinner. And another tradition for Christmas, at least for us, is stolen. Now, what the heck is a stolen? Or you might be saying to me, John, when did stolens start? Well, the stolen or the Christmas stolen is a tradition dating back to the 14th century from Germany. Germans bake stolen loaves at Christmas to honor princes and church dignitaries, and to sell at fairs and festivals for holiday celebrations. So the German stolen bread has been around for a very long time, and each stolen loaves were made as bread without milk or butter because the Catholic Church did not allow these ingredients during Advent. In the mid 17th century, a papal proclamation allowed stolen bakers to add milk and butter, resulting in a similar recipe to the one that is baked today. So, the favorite legend pertaining to stolen bread is that the hump on our loaves represents the humps of camels that carried gifts to the Christ child on the first Christmas. And the candied fruits and raisins represent the precious jewels and gifts in the camel's packs. So a lot of bakeries bake these stolen loaves with care and intention, that you can give to your family and friends and enjoy this great delicacy. Today, I want to give a shout out to my friends at Muller's Bakery in Bay Head, New Jersey, where we've been getting our stolens for quite a while. I have to tell you, you can get them two different ways. You can get them with the cinnamon, or you can get them with the white powder. I prefer to get them with the white powder. So you might be asking me, John, what is in a traditional German stolen? And so that's a great question. So it's actually it's a delicious cake, but it's comprised of yeast bread that's baked with dried fruits, candied citrus peel, nuts, and spices. Some variations include different things like almond, poppy seeds, quark, stolen nuts, butter stolen, high butter content, Dresdner stolen, and Marzipan stolen. Stolons are famous. They're dusted with a thick coat of powdered sugar, and this is reminiscent of the snowy German landscape and baked with spices, conveying the warmth of the Christmas season. The thing that's interesting about Stollen, no matter where you get these, whether it's from Muller or wherever, Stollen actually is made right at Thanksgiving time, and then when they close, which they do now for Christmas, and they reopen again for the new year, they don't make it anymore. So the first and most famous variety of Stolons is the Dresdner Stollen. Some historians date it back to the 1329s, and over the centuries, the Stollen was refined to become what it is today. It has come a long way because up until 1650, the Stollen was a bland, hard pastry, as the use of butter and milk, as I said, was forbidden during Lent by the Catholic Church. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So Stolons were around for Easter time, but I'm talking about for Christmas time. So it was in this year that Prince Ernest von Sachsenhausen, at the request of the bakers of Dresden, petitioned Pope to lift the butter ban, and the request was denied. And then 5 popes later, the ban was finally lifted in 1490 by the Pope's famous butter brief, Butter Letter. From that point, the Stollen gradually developed into an enjoyable sweet bread, incorporating additional ingredients, and it became an important symbol of the region. King August II in 1730 commissioned the bakers of Dresden to bake a gigantic Stollen in celebration of the strength of the Saxon military, an event to which he invited dignitaries of Europe in the hope of building allies. And so the Stollen back then weighed 1.8 tons. That's 3,600 pounds. It was 27 feet long and 18 feet wide, and it had a very special oven that was designed just to bake it, built just for this purpose. It took a convoy of 8 horses to transport the Stollen to the king's table, and a 26-pound and 5.25-foot long knife was used to cut it. So Germany's first Christmas market was held in Dresden in 1434, and this market, the Dresden Straßenmarkts Stollen, continued to be held every year. And also held annually on the Saturday prior to the second Advent is the Dresdner Stollen, featuring Germany's largest Christstollen. So far as 2013 holds the record for the largest Stollen, weighing nearly 9,400 pounds. Each year, a horse-drawn carriage paraded the giant Stollen through the streets and on the Christmas market. Per tradition, a replica of the original 5-foot-long knife is used to slice the Stollen. The mayor of the city tastes the first piece, and the Stollen is then cut into thousands of pieces that are sold, with proceeds going to charity. So, Stollen is something that has been an honor tradition, our family, for a very, very long time. What we also do is every Christmas, we actually, we give them out to friends and family, clients, etc. But what we do on Christmas Day is we typically have orange juice, and we have a piece or two of Stollen, and some hot tea, decaf tea, and that's our traditional Christmas breakfast, which is pretty interesting. So let's talk about some other traditions. So we talked about the fact that I made a gingerbread house. That was one thing I told you about. Another tradition that we always have is Christmas Eve, we always go out to dinner. Christmas Day, we usually have it home, like we'll cook on the grill. Today we made a filet mignon. Before that, we had shrimp and cocktail sauce. And then we had filet mignon, we had mashed potatoes, we had asparagus, and we had carrots and rolls. And of course, we always would start our meal before we even got to the appetizers. Well before the shrimp cocktail, we would pour prosecco. Obviously, pop the bottle as a tradition, and then serve that make a toast, and then hit everyone's glasses very gently since they're Waterford Crystal, and then drank. And then before we had our meal, we obviously said a prayer. So these are traditions. And so you might say to me, John, why are traditions so important? I think traditions are good because we learn about our roots, we can be grateful, and we can then learn about new traditions that we can create. So if you don't have a tradition today, I encourage you to create a tradition. It's just something so amazing. All right, so today, ladies and gentlemen, is the last night of Hanukkah. So happy eighth night of Hanukkah. And you might be saying, "Gee, it's interesting." Well, we talked a lot about Hanukkah in previous shows, but the eighth night of Hanukkah is very important because that is actually the end of Hanukkah. That kind of like marks the end. And it was interesting this year that it actually fell on Christmas Day. So sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Um, Again, we said one candle is lit on the first night of Hanukkah, and additional candle is lit on each successive night until on the eighth night the Hanukkah is fully illuminated. Hanukkah is also called the Feast of Lights or festive lights due to the importance of the candle lighting. So, what other traditions are around for Christmas? Let's talk about that. Other traditions for Christmas. So, one tradition is maybe going to see the tree, maybe Christmas caroling. Okay, hanging the stockings by care by the fireplace in the hopes that Saint Nick soon would be there, right? So that's definitely a tradition that has been on for a very very long time. Some people actually, I believe, with Saint Nick, they put their shoes out on the holiday of Saint Nick, and Saint Nick would come and fill their shoes with treats. So of course we have the midwinter decorations. People have parties, all kinds of homemade foods and goodies. Then there's also something called the ancient pudding. Um, Plum porridge is the earliest form of Christmas plum pudding, and since the Middle Ages, in those days it was made from the shin of beef or veal, stewed with dried fruit spices, sugar, lemon juice, and claret. And the tradition of stirring it on the Sunday before Advent was well established by the 1800s. Now, children would stir in silver Christmas charms, including coins, a ring to foretell a marriage, a horseshoe for luck, and a thimble for a life of blessedness. And twigs of varied holly with berries were also placed each side to keep away the witches. At the Cowton Court in Warwickshire, the puddings were made with stout and then given out to the local old people. So really interesting. Also, we have the seasonal feasting, people enjoying all the types of feasts. Of course, there's all the types of superstitions. Um, Many ancient superstitions around Christmas. For example, a large log of oak will be brought in that had to be heavy for one man to lift. They would put it on the hearth in the house, like in the Tins field, and it was still smoldering on Christmas Day. Then it was said that the home would be prosperous for the coming year. A New Year's Eve tradition was that just before midnight, um, the master of the house and all his guests would go from room to room, opening every door and window, however cold the weather. The story went that the burden of the old year could be let out, leaving everything new for the time to come. We'll talk more about that when we actually get into the New Year's area. So, gift giving is another tradition. Whether you're giving a gift card, whether you're giving presents or your time, the concept behind gift giving was celebrating the birth of Christ. Really the biggest gift is spending time with loved ones. It's not what you get them, but it's the thought that you put the time into it. Those are really the best gifts. In fact, everyone was included, including the servants, and they might be given a dress, a woolen jumper, or some money, or a piece of meat, or even an umbrella. Sometimes presents were buried in tubs and set next to a great shimmering tree. Dancing and skating has also been extremely popular, but more traditions are starting to emerge. And I think when you can start to understand your lineage, you can start to understand Christmas traditions. Okay, that's just one type, but traditions are not just for Christmas. So let's talk about Christmas traditions in England. Okay, let's talk about that. So we have the Christmas decorations, of course, sending Christmas cards, mince pie, Christmas pudding, Christmas crackers. Um, there is a tradition that some people want to go see a show, like some people go see the Nutcracker. The Queen's Christmas Message was always one of the most watched programs on TV on Christmas Day, and 24 million people turned in last year. Actually, she definitely will be. The tradition actually started by the Queen's grandfather, King George V, when he delivered the first address over radio in 1932. And George V's first message was written by English writer Rudyard Kipling and transmitted live from a studio that was created for him at the Sandringham Estate. So lots of things to understand. There's also Boxing Day, December 26th. It's a British public holiday on the 26th December, the day directly after Christmas Day. And although there's a lot of different theories about what Boxing Day is, it generally is thought of the day was created for people to box up their unwanted gifts and give them to the poor who had nothing. It was also a holiday for tradesmen who received a boxing or a gift the day after Christmas. Nowadays, many British people use their day off on Boxing Day to travel and visit relatives and eat their body weight in turkey sandwiches or hit the sales and pick up a bargain. Of course, mince pies, Christmas pudding is always popular in England, and a lot of people in England eat turkey for Christmas. The British love to sing; it's part of their life. Christmas carols, and so that's definitely a neat thing. Christmas crackers, we talked about that. The tradition of the Christmas tree probably originated in the pagan rites to celebrate the survival of nature in winter. And the modern tradition began in Germany, spreading throughout the Christian world, and in particular in the Protestant countries in the 18th century, especially in the 19th century. So Prince Albert, the German husband of Queen Victoria, brought the tradition to England in the 19th century, and it then spread quickly to the point where decorated Christmas trees have become the classic symbol of Christmas, even more so than the nativity scenes. So, thinking about traditions, I want to talk about another tradition, Christmas traditions in Italy. So, a big tradition in Italy, since my mom's side is from Italy, it is the nine Christmas traditions in Italy are very very popular. The Feast of the Seven Fishes. So in Italy, the Christmas Eve dinner is called the Feast of Seven Fishes, and as the name suggests, it's a seven-course meal featuring only seafood. Why is there no meat or roast? Well, the meat-free tradition comes from the Roman Catholic custom of abstaining from meat on Christmas Eve in order to purify the body. The specifics of the menu vary from region to region, but some common courses include marinated anchovies, seafood soup, hearty roast fish, and seafood pasta. Well, of course, there is the midnight mass that is very, very popular in Italy, not just in the globe. And the thing about this is folks living in or near Rome can visit the Vatican for a free service held by the Pope. Though in this case, midnight mass is kind of a little bit of a challenge because it's not really at midnight, since the event actually starts around 9:30 p.m. Bagpipe music is also very popular in Italy. The nativity scene, La Befana, which is celebrated on January 6th, marks the end of Christmas season and the last round of gift giving. In fact, a second Santa Claus of sorts pays a visit to homes on this special day. So, some interesting things there. Midnight skiing is popular in Italy and around the Alps. Sweets, and more sweets. So, if you have a sweet tooth, Italy's probably the place that you want to visit over the holidays. The Tombola. After finishing off the Christmas Eve feast, families gather around to play Tombola, the Italian version of bingo. It's a very interesting lottery game. involving prizes and plenty of merry making. So a very interesting, an interesting tradition. And you're probably saying, it has been defined to be very loud and some abrupt noises, but lots of people love to play tombola. Of course, in Italy, there's a gift exchanging. And when you're in Italy, it's like you're constantly eating between passeggiata, which is a walk usually at night in the afternoon, but they're always eating and they're always very happy. Also, a tradition that we've adopted many years ago. This came from my great grandmother on my dad's side. Many, many years ago, she got me inspired to help her when I was very young to help her make cookies. But I didn't do a lot then. I kind of helped her. I stirred some things. I maybe put some things out. I maybe put some ingredients in the mixer, but I wasn't really on my own. And it wasn't till many years ago that I got more involved with it when she was sick. She still was alive, and I started making cookies. And it's just an interesting thing to do. I make cookies at home. I start usually right after Thanksgiving. Next year, I think I'm going to start right around Thanksgiving because it takes a long time. Package them up really well, and then I ship them off to where I am here in Florida, and I give them to friends and family. But what I also do, my tradition is, I believe that people like to eat cookies. So what I do is I take the cookie and I make it about a very small cookie, like about that big. And so when you have seven of my cookies, it's like eating one cookie. So just a neat little thing. So I would love to hear what some of your traditions are, whether they're from Italy, whether they're from the US, whether they're from Spain, or whether they're from Germany. Tell me what you do around the holidays. Again, a very Merry Christmas to all my friends that celebrate Christmas. And of course, a happy, healthy, wonderful eighth day of Hanukkah to my Jewish friends. I hope you'll like, love, and support the channel. Definitely, ladies and gentlemen, please make the choice. Comment below. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. Go to my YouTube channel, John Space C Space MRLY Space Serial Entrepreneur. Look for that key phrase to help keep our content free. Make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, to buy my team and I maybe a bottle of Prosecco, maybe a fresh bowl of fruit, or a savory dessert. Either way, we're going to be grateful for those pennies and dollars you invest into us that we'll put into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational, inspiration content to empower your life if you really want to. And like I said, maybe start bringing crackers into your family. I think that might be a great tradition to adopt. It's just something really neat. Crackers for Christmas. And you can get crackers uh, so many different places. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them in Walmart. A typical set of crackers, you can buy 10 crackers, I think, online for like $34, and 8 crackers is like 19.99. So it's not an expensive thing. You can also go to other stores that might have crackers, like a Walmart or something like that, and they have smaller crackers. But I think just looking around, Amazon seems to be the best. But what's nice about them is that it has a little bit of excitement. And I think on the holidays, it's great to be with people you care and love, but also to have a little bit of extra fun. So maybe incorporate a game after you have some dinner. Do something, but start incorporating a tradition. If you have some, definitely keep them going. And there's never a bad time to create new traditions that can be followed again, again, again. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be with you this amazing Christmas day. And I hope that it's a blessed one for you. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on the 26th, the day after Christmas, for more talk about traditions. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your night.